It's helpful to have a basic understanding of the color triad to start painting. So let's talk about that. You really need 3 colors, hence the word triad, to paint a painting, and that would be blue, red, and yellow. So the choice of which colors to use is up to you, but I would recommend that you start with the basics. So the blue I suggest is ultramarine blue to start, and then the red, alizarin crimson, and then the yellow, a cad yellow medium would be good. Mosquitoes. And I do tend to undertone my paintings with some type of red, but more often the red iron oxide. But sometimes if you paint sort of loosely, the accent color will show through, and that can also be your accent color, or one of them. It helps to get a color wheel. You can get one of those at Jerry's or on Amazon real easily. They're not very expensive, maybe $5 to $10 at the most. But that gives you a better understanding of the color choices. But start with the primaries. Let's start with the basic 3. Ultramarine blue, cad red deep, and yellow cad medium. By mixing the ultramarine blue with the cad yellow, you can get a green. By mixing the cad red with ultramarine blue, you can get a purple. By mixing cad red with cad yellow lemon, you get an orange color. By mixing cad red with ultramarine blue, you get another version of purple. Now what if you added a little yellow to this one? Now believe it or not, that makes an excellent shadow color. Now let's try cobalt blue, cad red light, and lemon yellow. So cobalt blue with red light. It's a different kind of purple, but we'll add more blue to it. Let's try the cad red light with the cad lemon. Now that's a really nice orange. There's one other thing you can do. And that's add the lemon yellow to the ultramarine blue for a green. Now one thing about greens I do recommend is always add just a tiny touch of red to them. That will dull them down a little bit because those really bright greens are not natural. So it gives it a more, you can see how it warms it up quite a bit. It really depends on what look you're going for. Okay, let's try alizarin crimson with yellow ochre. Add a little more yellow ochre to it. If you want to dull that down, add a little ultramarine blue. Here's another trick. Add some white. Now white will definitely dull your paint color, but you can't have everything all bright and vibrant. Take a little cad yellow medium, add a little white to it. Now this color is very vibrant and it takes quite a bit to mellow it out. So really you should put your white down first and add the cad yellow medium later. Try the same experiment with the yellow ochre. This color is also pretty vibrant and takes a lot to dull it down. I use yellow medium, or I'm sorry, I use yellow ochre quite a bit for dirt. And if you want it for dirt, but it's not really that bright, right? Add just a touch, and this is too much, but add a touch of blue, and that will make it more dull. Looks more dirt-like. Here's another experiment you can do. Put your cobalt blue, your ultramarine blue, and try it with all the different yellows. So that's cad lemon, cad lemon, you can see it gives you a completely different yellow. Try the ultramarine blue with cad red. Try it with the cad red light. Cobalt blue with the yellow medium. Much darker. And then the cobalt blue with yellow ochre. So 3 different greens. Remember, if you want to dull them, add just a touch of red. Okay, this is the cad red deep, and that's way too much, but it shows you kind of a darker orange that you can do. Basically, you just have to play around with all this stuff. Add a little white. Interestingly, it turns into kind of a brownish color. You can take it further. This is a nice gray. Little white. And a little white. Now, I lean toward these bright colors, and I really like that green. So the dominant color here, this was the cobalt blue. And then the dominant color over here was the ultramarine blue. Now what happens if we add a little white over here? Sometimes by adding a little white to a corner, it really gives you a good idea of what your color is, because sometimes they're so dark it's a little hard to tell. You know, our eyes are not as good as animals. Here's a little white on this side. Now this was the ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson, and this was the ultramarine blue and the red light. And then a little white to this one. And this gives you a whole other green. So play around with it. So let's make a purple. Ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. This is my favorite purple, and I use this all the time for drawing a painting in, drawing the outline. and dark spots. So instead of using black, make your own dark color. Now what's nice about this ultramarine blue alizarin crimson is it makes the greatest shadow color. So add yellow ochre to that. And you can cool it off with a little more ultramarine blue, and you can warm it up with a little more yellow ochre. And if you add white, it gives you a really lovely kind of purple, light purple. So say you want to make a tree. Now this is kind of a green. I'm going to warm it up with a little red. Now this is just examples. I think this is what you need to do, but say you make your tree, and you know that's way too dark for a tree. Let's lighten it up. Now I'm still working with ultramarine blue here. Adding a touch of red to my green. And we'll just get in the way of this other sample. Now remember, our mother color for this painting is the ultramarine blue. So now I'm going to put a little accent color in there. So cad lemon, ultramarine blue, a little touch of red, just a tiny bit. Now what side is our light coming from? Let's say it's coming from this side. So you're going to have more of this light color over here. Going to have it a little darker on this side. You might even try a little bit of this yellow ochre. You know what? Looking at this, here's a little trick. Let's make a nice purple. So shadows in the tree are purple. Ultramarine blue and lemon yellow, yellow ochre, don't forget about occasional branches, lighten the branches on this side. Take your cobalt blue Add some white. And you're going to get your sky in. Sky holes. Now this is obviously a super rudimentary. This is not really, this isn't a painting. This is just an example how you can play around. This also demonstrates the fun part of oil paints, because you can color up stuff you don't like. Cover up, because you can cover up stuff you don't like. So here's your sky. And of course the sky gets lighter the lower it goes. Want to work some of your sky into your tree. Anyway, to get back to what I was trying to show you is the ultramarine blue with the alizarin crimson, which makes this, let's add the cobalt blue because we're running out of paint. And then add the yellow ochre. And this makes a lovely shadow. You can add a little white to it. We'll add a little cad yellow deep with a cad lemon. And let's lighten that up. Of course, like I said, this white is going to dull it. And then just a little bit of cad red. Anyway, so here's your grass. Now, the further you get back in distance, the lighter things get. That's how you gain a little perspective. And also the duller the color, you gain a little perspective. Put a little bit of it here and there to kind of tie it all in. Now you should have a horizon, and I don't know where it is because I'm just trying to demonstrate this, but you get the general idea. A little texture. Let's assume that this is the horizon. You might want to tint your lightest blue with a little red to make it kind of lavender. Then a little yellow ochre with white. A little more white. And this will put the shadow on the side of the trunk. On the branches on this side. And just remember, anytime you think you make a mistake, you can always cover it up. So this is obviously too big and too bright. So what should we do? Maybe a little orange. Doesn't hurt to get some more color in there. A complementary color is lavender to green. So anytime you are painting, green, try to get some lavender touches in there. You've got a little bit down here. The other thing about shadows is very seldom are they one color, so you want to have some color variation, like you get out to the side a little bit and your shadows are going to get lighter. Closer to the tree, they might be different sort of shade. You might add red to it. Anyway, just a quick idea of kind of how colors work and how you learn them. It's by playing with them. So I hope this was helpful. Any questions you might have about color mixing, just put them in the comments below. And I plan to do a few more kind of color mixing types of videos. We'll talk about some of the secondary color mixtures, the more muted tones, and the effect that you want to achieve. And here's a hint for you. Painting is a messy business. Buy some baby wipes. They work really well for cleaning up your paint. Check it out, just like new.